All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I am your host, Letha Thornton, and we have a really special show as we continue to move the culture forward pertaining to all things money and finance. We have talked about so many different things to help you with resources and the tools to take control of your finances and make an impact as it pertains to your personal financial goals and dreams. This particular guest that we have was my very first guest on the show when I started in January of 2023. This gentleman came on and he talked to us about getting into a millionaire mindset. It bears repeating over and over and over and over again so that the repetition of things can help us to stay in the millionaire mindset. So he is a coach, a mentor, a philanthropist, an author, a serial entrepreneur. He is a whole host of things and so incredibly humble to come on the show and really just want to share his knowledge with the people. So I'm going to bring up show contributor, Mr. Tauheed Burke. Are you with me?
Hello.
Hey,
Good
it's good to
evening.
see you. So happy to have you back. How are
Thank you
you?
so much. I appreciate you having me.
It's always a pleasure. And I know you're going to help so many people tonight. To be completely honest, I put this out in some of the groups that I was in, and I asked, what would you say if you had some time to spend with a millionaire, right? So I had over 30 responses of questions that people wanted to ask you because we have a lot of entrepreneurs, hardworking individuals that really want to take control of their finances and go to the next level. And a big part of going to the next level is mindset and your actions that you put behind it. And I
Mhm.
couldn't think of a better person to help us with that since you did such an amazing job the first time. I've heard you many times, but I want you to share your gifts yet again with the audience. So, Tahi, just tell us a little bit about you and your personal story.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to be on your show. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. My journey started in Baltimore, Maryland, a place called Cherry Hill, um, where I grew up. There was like really no evidence of anybody that really had any legal success. Um, I saw a lot of illegal things going on around me, but I could not visualize, how I can escape from this particular environment. When I started playing basketball when I was like 10 years old. And at the same time, around 11 years old, I started getting in trouble. So playing basketball, then getting in trouble, hanging with the wrong crowd. But one thing that kept me grounded was sports because it taught me uh, what it took to be successful, what it took to take care of your body, what it took to be a leader, what it took to be a winner. So the whole time I'm getting in trouble, the only reason I really got in trouble again is I wanted to make money. I didn't get in trouble because I wanted to get in trouble. I wanted to get in trouble because I needed to make some money to survive. Right. So as time went on, and when I got 15, 16 years old, I saw things happening to my friends that to me, I didn't want to go down that path. And it was a day I never forget to change my life forever. I was about 15, 16 years old, and we was walking from the shopping center in a place called Cherry Hill. And on the way from the shopping center, one of my friends said, we want to go get high. It had to be like 10, 15 of us. And and I'm like, off of what? And they said like heroin. I'm like, what? Like heroin? Like put a needle in your arm? And I'm like, heck no. And all the rest of my friends, all of them. I'm telling you right now, every single one of them, except for me. I don't remember any one of my friends that said no to that other than me. And the reason I said no to it because it flashed in my mind if I did that, I wouldn't be able to play basketball. So
Mm.
I walked away from my friends, and that day it changed all of our lives forever. Now I still hung with my friends. They just started going totally different ways than I was. And then when I got when I got 17 years old, I got kicked out of high school, by the way, when I was 16 years old. So I got kicked out of high school for starting a riot. But I still passed the 11th grade. I don't know how. They kicked me out. Then I went to my other high school, which was Southwestern High School in Baltimore, Maryland. I went there. It was a month left in the school year, and I still passed the 11th grade. So then I went to the 12th grade and I went out for the basketball team there because they knew who I was because I played for Southern and I made the basketball team. But the whole time I was still getting in trouble like the first half of the year. But then something started happening within me. Um, and I started backing away from my friends and I started isolating myself and I started focusing on basketball and I started focusing on school. And I had a son at the time. My first child was born when I was 15 years old.
Mm.
So I started focusing on school, um, and I isolated myself. And then I became most valuable player on my basketball team. But because of what I did in my 11th grade year, I didn't get a scholarship.
Mm.
So I decided to go to college after school. And when I went to college, I didn't stay. I stayed for 1 week, went back to Baltimore. Isolated myself again because I said, man, there's no way I can get back out on the streets. So then I decided after like 3 or 4 days, I walked out and told my mom I'm going in the Navy. And when I went in the Navy, that's when my life changed. But my first year in the Navy, I got in trouble and almost got kicked out of the military. But long story short, out of 30 of our friends that we hung out together when we were kids, 75% of them are dead, some out on drugs, or in jail. So I don't know I'll tell you what helped me, to be honest. Playing basketball, I used to watch a movie called Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. And I used to watch that show. I'm like, where are these people at? Like they had another planet somewhere because I never seen nothing like this. They should show these hotels, these big cars riding up to the hotels. People used to throw their keys to the people that go park their car. Right? They showed off, talk about caviar. They talk about champagne, all this good wine. I'm like, man, one day, man, if I can just do that one day, I'm gonna be okay. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but one day I want to live like that. And I think that stayed in the back of my mind. And when I saw the escape, when I saw the hole in the fence to get out of Baltimore, to get out of Cherry Hill, I bust through that hole.
Okay. So so the Navy, was it the Navy that started that breakthrough, or what transpired after the Navy that started your journey and got you where you are now?
Well, to be honest with you, it started when I was like 15 when my son was born. That's when it started. That's when my mind had to start shifting, but it took 4 years, 4 years for the stuff to get out of my mind. Because even when I went in the Navy, I still got in trouble, right? I still got in trouble my first year. But after my first year, the commanding officer said, if you get in trouble one more time, you're going back to Baltimore. And when he said that to me, that's when my life started to change. At that point, when I knew that if I went back, there will be no other way for me to do anything else. So I made a decision at that time I want to start changing. So then I started really reading books, reading books about success. I started really working on my body, really working on my mind. And then when I got out of the Navy, I got stationed in Indian Head, Maryland, right outside of DC. I started looking into the financial service business. I started part time in business and I saved my money and all that. And I went full time in business and I never looked back. I never had a job, never been on a job interview. And then I started expanding from there.
Okay. So financial services changed your life along with
Absolutely.
some of the bumps and bruises, right? So then what was it with the financial services industry? What did it position you to do?
It did two things. It taught me how to be a business owner, number
Mm,
one. And
big
number
time.
two, it taught me the principles of money, right? Taught me how to be a business owner, taught me the principles of money. I always was working on my mind, right? So that, I was already into that part of it. But those are the two things that it helped me with, which set me up for the rest of my life.
Okay. So is that how you became a millionaire? What was the road? Because I know you blew up there. Um, how did you morph that into where you are today?
Well, that's a good question, and it's probably I could take
It's a
2 days
long,
to
long
talk
story.
about it, right? So what I'm going
It's
to
a
do is
pretty
I'm going to
awesome
start by
company.
saying, when I started the financial service business launched everything. It launched everything to where I'm at today. Everything I've ever done, that was my base for my movement to take my life to the next level, right? But this is some things, some principles that helped me along the journey in the financial service business, which elevated me as I start to grow as an individual. So the first thing is I had a burning desire. And for anybody that want to be successful and put yourself in position to build financial independence, you have to have a burning desire, something that wakes you up in the morning, that has you fighting for something. And that burning desire is something that you personally have to accomplish in your life, something that you feel would add some type of significance to your life. So that was the number one thing that helped me start to elevate myself. I had a burning desire. My burning desire was to travel around the world without having to be back on the ship by midnight. My
Mm,
burning desire was to eat at the best restaurants, was to travel and have the best cars, was to be able to do anything I choose to do whenever I wanted to do it. And believe it or not, the number one burning desire that drove me to be a business owner is I didn't want to get up early in the morning. I hate the alarm clock. I mean, I hated the fact that I had to get up when it was dark and cold and had to take a shower when it's cold in the morning and have
mm,
to drive out somewhere where it's cold and miserable and scraping the daggone ice off of my car. Man, every time I did that, I said, this is some bull right here. I am not going to live my life like that. So the number one thing that drives, believe it or not, I know that makes some sense, but the number one thing that drove me to want to be a business owner was not having to get up early in the morning. So the first thing was a burning desire. The second thing was purpose. When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable. So my
say it one more
purpose
time.
was
That was the one
absolutely.
liner. One more time.
When purpose is not known, misuse is inevitable.
Mm,
So my purpose was bigger than me. So you're going to have your burning desires personal. Your purpose have to be bigger than you, because this is what happens. If you focus on your burning desire and once you get what you want, you're going to stop, because we are comfortable as beings, right? We are comfortable. But when you have a purpose, it drives you to bigger and better things. So my purpose was to deliver for my kids. I had two sons at the time. Now I'm 19 years old, had two sons. I had my mom I needed to take care of, and I wanted to deliver for my community. I wanted to show my community there was somebody that grew up like that grew up, that came from where they came from, was in the streets the way they were in the streets, became successful. So my every time I wanted to give up, it was two things that hit me: my burning desire and my purpose. Right? So my purpose drove me when I got comfortable. My purpose drove me when I didn't feel like doing anything. My purpose drove me when people were rejecting me and telling me I'm not good enough to make it. So those are the two main things that helped elevate me and kept me driven to move forward. Now, the third was my strategy, right? So I have a burning desire, I have a purpose, but the strategy is what's going to move you to the next level. So now, my objective when I went in business was not only to be a successful business person, I wanted to become financially independent. So I wanted to accumulate enough money where nobody can actually control me. Nobody can tell me where I need to be, what time I need to be there. Right. So everything that I did Everything that I did when I started becoming successful in business was geared towards saving and accumulating assets.
Mm.
Saving and accumulating assets so that I can position myself to be able to deliver for my family and also to deliver for myself and have a quality life.
You just said a whole mouthful. So I heard self improvement, knowing what you're being purpose driven,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you mean to tell me this was not an overnight success?
No, I mean, it takes time to win. See, that's the thing. People look at a person that's successful today and they're like, man, it just seems so easy, you know. I mean, it's like a piece of cake, right? Man, the road, the journey to success, man, is full of rocks with freaking knives stuck in the middle of the rocks. I mean,
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say glass, but that works
yeah,
too.
it's tough, man. It's not for the weak. It's not for somebody that don't have something deep down inside that they want to accomplish, right? So, and here's the next thing about being successful. You people say, well, the more I'm successful, you know, the more people will like me. The more this would happen, the more that would happen. No, because success is not for everybody around you to look at. Success is internal, right? So most people think success is what happens like outer like materialistic things. Success is more to just material things, which I'll get into in a second.
Okay. And I just wanted you to share that because hearing humble beginnings, I asked you to tell your personal story, and a lot of people that might be tuning in have heard it, but people need to know that no matter where you come from or how rocky your start is, that doesn't mean that that's how you have to finish, right? And oftentimes, my mentors say the road to success leads through the city dump, right? So
Right.
the bumps, the bruises, the stumbles, the failures, the rejection, the lack of support, so many different elements that make people feel like they have failed when actually that's a part of success if you really want it and you can get past that those hurdles. How much does emotional intelligence play a part in that for you?
I think you're asking the right question. You know, I don't know these big words, but so so emotional intelligence play in success. I think that emotion emotion plays a lot when it comes to success because you have to be able to control your emotions if that's the question you're asking. I don't
That is.
know too many successful people that don't have an even, you know, they're even kill. If you look at most successful quarterbacks in the National Football League, they have this even kill mentality. They may be intense, but they even kill. If you look at a good point guard that play basketball, they even kill and they can keep the team at a with a certain level and a certain mindset. So in order to be successful, you have to have a calm personality, but an intense, like internal intensity. Right? You can't
Right.
be all jumping up. Most people think that this person's so excited, man. They told, you know, they bouncing off the wall. I know they're gonna win. No, they the ones not gonna win. Right? It's the
Right.
ones, it's the ones that you sit back, relax, and observe. Like they have that internal intensity, and that's very critical to being successful because it's very critical to building assets too. Because if you're emotional about your money, you never be able to really grow your money, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense because you're gonna blow it, you're gonna do stupid things with it, and the whole nine. So that makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you we're cooking with gas, right? So you kind of gave some of the keys to success already, and that was one of the questions that our viewers asked. They wanted to know, what exactly are the keys to success, and I can't say it enough. The self improvement, most of the success and building that you've developed really came from mastering your mind, right?
Hmm.
Knowing that there's so much. negative influence, so much trash, so many people around you, um, that can cloud things. So a lot of the times you got to put a whole lot in just to tune everything and everyone out. Would you agree with that?
Well, it's easy for me to tune people out.
Me too.
I got a force shield around me, right? I got a force shield. I got a positive shield around me, and negativity comes against that shield. It's gonna bounce off. It's gonna bounce off like 15 feet away from me. So if you got a burning desire, something that you want to accomplish, you don't even hear the noise. Man, if you focus like this all started when I played basketball. When I used to play basketball, we used to go around the city in Baltimore playing teams. And everywhere we go, somebody's in the stands running their mouth, talking stuff. You walk in the gym, people talking stuff, all that stuff. You can't listen to that. So I got accustomed to just like, not even paying attention to the noise when I was coming up as a kid playing ball. And when I went overseas playing basketball, it was the same thing. And, you go overseas, the gym's packed, people talking trash. I started my business the same thing. I don't even listen to people that talk negative. I don't even hear people saying what I can't do. I don't even pay attention to that. And I think the biggest reason that most people do not have success is they spend most of their time concerned what others think about them and concerned what others say about them. Here's my thing. Here's the thing. People that don't want to accomplish anything in life, their main objective is to stop you from accomplishing what you want. So now it's just like Satan. Satan comes, he's going to destroy all the people that believe. Well, people that don't want to be successful and don't believe that they want to be successful, that's like Satan. They want to destroy anybody else that want to be successful or have a burning desire to want to win, or they see trying to win. And here's the next thing. When you start your journey to success, more crap gonna happen to your first 2 weeks of you starting your journey than happened to you the last 2 years. The reason God is testing you. God is testing to see if you're worthy of being able to carry the banner of a leader. And here's the next thing. Right before you become financially independent, you're gonna get smacked again, and you're gonna get smacked harder than you ever got smacked in your entire career. The reason is God want to know if you have the capacity to lead men and women. Right? So too much, and when they say too much is given, much is required, right? That's a small statement, but too much is given, much is required. But before you're given it, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally before you become a successful business person and before you become financially independent.
So it's funny you should say that. You have no idea how many times, with me being in financial services, that I'm working with someone, and I have to tell them that in advance, because if you don't tell them that, they're going to do stuff like, this isn't, this is a sign that this
Mm-hmm.
isn't for me. This is a sign that this isn't the path or the direction that I need to go in. And it's just the opposite. It's the fact that no one's going to give you anything without the work, the grit, the recovery, the rebound, whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
to call it. So I have to tell people that in advance, and then when it happens, they're like, yo, you said that things were about to get crazy. They are. Because if you can't push through it, then you can't go to the next level, right? Which brings me to my next question. Exactly, well, not exactly, but tell the audience how many times you had to start over.
I don't even know. I don't even know. I got smacked down so many times. I stopped. I ain't even count, because if I counted, what would be the purpose of counting? So I never looked at how many times I had to start all over again. That wasn't even on my mind. What I needed to do was start over as many times as it took me to win. Right? Because if I say some people that I did it 4 times, I did it 5 times, I started 8 times, and they're gonna say, well, okay, I started 8 times, and they get smacked the 8th time. Well, he said 8, man, I ain't gonna go through that 9th one, right? So everybody has their own test, right? So it's
Right.
not how many times you've been smacked down, it's not how many times you will be, it's how many times you can get back up and get better. And here's the next thing, because life is a journey, of unexpected situations. You can be worth $100 million and adversity hits you. It may not be a financial adversity, but it's going to be an adversity, and you have to be willing to overcome that adversity. So most people believe that a financial adversity is the main adversity. No, I don't believe it's the main adversity. I believe that the main adversity is all within yourself, all in the way you believe, all in the way you think. That's your biggest adversity. The biggest adversity we ever will face in life is our own mind. And if we can overcome the thinking and controlling of our own mind, everything else is simple.
I totally agree with that. Positive thinking, positive talk, affirmations, things of that nature. I know that you are a published author with an amazing book and brand.
Thank
And
you.
I always say that succeed anyway is an affirmation in itself, right? Because everything that we're talking about, building wealth, getting slapped down, just the different trials and tribulations of business owners and all the entrepreneurs out here. I know you can totally relate where you have to find a way to succeed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What Share with the audience, and this might be a little off script, but share with the audience what are some of the things that you tell yourself or that you have told yourself to keep you in the right mind frame.
That I'm gonna get what I say I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get what I say I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna let anything stop me from getting what I want. I deserve to succeed. I deserve to win. I deserve to deliver for my family. My family deserve a better quality of life. My kids deserve an example of success. My community deserve an example of success. My friends deserve an example of success. Everybody in my community that's a minority deserves an example of success. So I hold, not the burden, I hold the responsibility of being a leader in my family, in my community. I hold that responsibility and I'm willing to accept that responsibility. And because I'm willing to accept that responsibility as a leader in my community, a leader in my family, then I am going to do what's required as long as it's the right thing to continue pressing forward so I can pave the way for millions of people throughout the years. That's my thoughts.
Well, those are huge. Those are things that people probably could have wrote down and recited every morning and every night before they go to bed. And I know that you have helped countless people to become successful. Somebody asked me a question, about the servant leadership, where you aren't just leading people, you're showing and teaching people how to become successful so that it lasts. And I know that you have helped countless amounts of people. I know you got a really big team with some really big dreams, and you're doing some amazing things in your community. Tell us, what are some of the non negotiables when it comes to the road to success and having a millionaire mindset?
Well, one non-negotiable is don't have nobody negative in your circle. So that's number one, not having anybody negative in your circle.
That's a
Number
good one.
two, quitting. Quitting is a non-negotiable. Quitting is a thing of the past. So the two non-negotiables I have, ain't no quitting and ain't no negativity. Those are
Absolutely.
the two things I can say that's non-negotiable. There's no quitting and there's no negativity. You're not gonna be around me negative. You're not gonna be around me complaining. You're not gonna be around me talking about people. You're not gonna be around me whining all the time. Just not gonna happen. I
Right.
mean, life is too short to go like that every day. You know, I say how quick days go by. It's in the morning and it's night. It's morning and it's night. It's morning and it's night. We gotta enjoy the moment. We gotta
Yep.
enjoy every single moment. And here's the thing: as long as we exist on this earth, there is nothing that serious that gets you that in uproar. Well, it destroys your day, and it destroys your week, and it destroys your month. Nothing should be that serious that gets you in uproar as long as you wake up in the morning and have a chance to make something better.
That's huge. That's some of the other things that I tell my team. Like, I understand maybe you had a bad moment, maybe you even had a bad day, but a bad week leading into a bad month leads to a bad year, leads to a bad 10 years, leads to just an overall bad life, stinking thinking. So the negativity, and which will lead you to quit, we have to make it up in our mind to quit quitting, right?
Exactly.
So next question. Our viewers had some amazing questions that we can't get to all of them. But what do you think is the main component that keeps people stuck? Now we've talked about a few of them, but just give us some insight.
Well, some of the things that keep people stuck, in my personal opinion, is number one, not having goals or having goals and not writing your goals down. So that's number one. You have to have goals and you have to write your goals down. Number two, not reading your goals every single morning and every single night. Number three, what keeps people stuck is what they read, what they see, and what they hear. What they read, see, and hear. So that all equates to what is your environment that you surround yourself in, right? Here's the next thing that keep people stuck: comfortability,
Mm.
being comfortable. See, you got to learn to be uncomfortable when you're comfortable. See, you is the only way you're gonna grow is to be uncomfortable. I've never, ever, ever done anything big when I was comfortable. Every time, my most creative stages in life is when I became uncomfortable. When adversity hits, when I had to be creative, when I had to think through something, when I had to come through a situation, when I had to come through a strategy, where I had to make some business adjustments. That's where all of my creativity came. None of my creativity came when my cash flow was exploding, when my assets was exploding, when the market was exploding. Man, I wasn't thinking about nothing. I wasn't being creative. I was creative when I got to a point where it was stand at a standstill. So if anybody want to be successful, they have to get comfortable, uncomfortable being comfortable. They have to be uncomfortable being comfortable in order for them to grow.
Right.
So that's just some of the things that, in my opinion, that keep people stuck. Comfortability
Mm-hmm.
and
Comfortability,
environment.
environment. We hear it all the time. You hang around five broke people, you'll be the sixth. You hang
Exactly.
around. This is why I try to surround myself with as many people earning six figures as possible, because I want to be the sixth person. So I gotta be in the environment where I see different things. I need my vision stretched. So when Tauheed is doing broadcasts from Nigeria or
Mhm.
wherever he is, I need to see that, because I now know he started in the humble beginnings that I started in and remain in. Because so selling that vision, selling the dream, and letting people know that it's possible, that's the environment that I seek to be in. And a lot of the times people will be, especially on social media,
Mhm.
they'll be saying things that just aren't, that are counterproductive to what it is that they say they want to do. So putting out positive energy, being around people who can help you get to that next level. And it's darn uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to be around people who may be doing better than you financially,
Mhm.
right? But you will never get there if you stay. I heard a saying one time that said, you can't get to the eighth floor if you're hanging with people in the basement, right?
Mhm.
So you got to put yourself in those environments So you do see a lot of people stuck, feeling challenged, feeling like they can't do these things. So all of those things were very, very, very powerful, and some things I hope people are writing these things down for self improvement, self development, and all of these things. This podcast is a self development type of situation. So, what would you say, Tauheed, was your best investment? I think I know
Real
what it is.
estate.
Okay.
Real estate, hands down. Real estate and investing in myself, investing in me, investing in me getting better physically, investing in me getting better mentally, investing in me getting better spiritually. And then from a tangible asset, I can say mutual funds, I can say the stocks, but real estate is the number one investment that I've made that helped grow assets.
I love it. That's a big one. We hear that all the time. We hear people talking about using real estate to create passive income, create generational wealth, all of those things. So I could certainly see how that's been a model for you as far as your best investment. This is a really good one, too. If you had to start all over again without
Hmm.
a penny to your name, what would you have done?
Exactly what I've done. I do exactly what I've done. I wouldn't do. I don't think. I may would change how I did it in a way, but I would do exactly what I've done. I believe that the things that I did. I would change. Maybe how I did it in a way. But what I did, I think God blessed me. He blessed me despite all the stuff that I went through, all the adversity, all the challenges, all the setbacks, all the stopping and starting, stopping and starting, stop getting smacked, stop and start. Despite all of that, because of my disciplined approach to my desire and my purpose, and because I had a strategy, I never backed down. I never backed down from what I wanted to accomplish, not once. So I had a plan, I had a sound plan, and I followed people that created wealth. I studied people that build assets. I studied what they did, I studied how they thought, I studied the moves they made, and I knew exactly what to do. I knew exactly what to do. I was just doing what I knew how to do from my researching and being around successful people. So I don't think I would change anything.
Do you think maybe you would have gone faster? Or is timing everything and you're
Well, here's the
exactly.
thing about faster. I wasn't ready faster. I wouldn't been ready. If I'd have got wealthy when I was 27 years old, I wasn't gonna be ready for that. I don't mean I wasn't ready mentally to handle that. I think that God put it in my position and my put it on me when I was ready. I don't know. I wanted but here's the thing. I've always had a good quality of life. I've always said I made sure. Here's the next thing. I made sure that when I started my business, that one of the things I was going to do was enjoy the journey. The joy is going to be the journey, and the journey is going to be the joy. I was going to take time to have fun. Man, I've been man, since I've been in business, since I was 26, 27 years old, man, I tried traveling the world because that's what I said I wanted to do. Because if I didn't travel the world, then how would I know that what I'm doing is going to be worth it? How
Mm,
would I know that? If I said that's one of the things I want to do in life, if I don't do what I say I want to do, how would I know that this journey, this battle, this fight, this struggle of being in business and building a business, how will I know if it will be worth it for me? So here's the thing. I'm not going to wait till I get to a destination before I start delivering for myself. The delivery for myself has to start immediately. Man, you can visit I bought my first house. This is crazy thing. I went full time in my business at 22 years old.
really?
I put a contract on my house 6 months before I went full time. I went to settlement a month before I went full time at 22 years old with my own house and never had a house before. Because I knew that if I got that house, I would fight harder I would fight harder because I was a single parent. I had my son. I was going to fight harder to make sure I kept that. And not for
So,
me, it was for my son.
so you put it in place with no turning back.
That's what you have to do.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
what
I
you
love
have
it.
to
I
do.
love
See,
it.
people are afraid to step out on faith because they're afraid they don't make it. Well, if you don't make it, what you going to do? Go back and see, look, if I failed with all the things that I said I was going to do, the worst case scenario was for me to go back in the Navy. I mean, that was cool. I was cool making the money in the Navy. I just didn't want nobody to control me. So if I didn't make it, the worst thing I was going to do is go back in the Navy. So I was going to go all out to make sure that I do what I say I was going to do, no matter what price I had to pay to do.
Okay. And they say you gotta pay the price, and there's no discounts,
Right?
right?
No
You
discount
gotta
or
pay it in
layaway.
full. Either what they say also, you pay the price or the price pays you.
I never
Absolutely.
heard the price pays you, so I never focus on that part. I just know you pay the price. I don't know about the
Right?
second part of that scenario.
Absolutely. I love it. So, what, and I know that you're a super humble guy, but we're going to try this anyway. What ways are you using your influence to be of service? It's perfectly fine to toot your own horn right now.
I mean, I don't know if I use my influence to do anything.
Oh,
Um, I just know that I use my knowledge, my experience, and my journey to be able to help somebody else, and also to be able to find a way to impact people so that they can see that a person that came from where they come from, right, that look like they look, right, can find a way to have success. Um, in every field, like every field, every environment. My goal is to, if I'm around somebody, if I see somebody, I want to do my best to be a positive example of what it takes to, I'm not saying um, I'm here. I just say I just want to be a positive example that you can you can come from. You don't have to come from somewhere special to do something special. And that's my objective, is to impact and empower people and show them an example. And if I continue to do that, then God will continue to bless me. I believe that I get my blessings through helping people. You can make as much money as you want to make. You can have as much money, but until you help people with what God has blessed you with, then you won't be significant, right? So I want to be significant, and the way that I'm significant is to take the blessings that God has bestowed on me and to be able to empower and impact somebody else's life, even if it's one person, right? If it's one person that I'm around that I empower and impact. I'll give you an example, right? This guy, I had this, I bought this like sub shop on wheels. I bought a sub shop on wheels, believe it or not. I invested in it. It was a while ago. And I had this
wait,
guy
wait,
running
wait.
this
Did you say sub SUV?
sub shop on wheels. It had sub shop, it had a deep fry. I mean, I had somebody running it for me. I bought it, I invested in it. And this guy that was running it for me, his name was Malcolm. And he would wake up every morning and run this thing. And he would be around me, right? He would be around me, around me. And he used to always say, man, I like your name and I like what you stand for, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And years went by, like 7, 8 years went by. And, I sold the thing. And I was at this cookout and I saw him. And he said, Tauheed, hey, he grabbed me, hugged me, man. We was talking. And this little kid ran by and his wife was with him. And she said, Tauheed. I'm like, what? I said, what? He said, yeah, that's my son. I named my son after you, man.
Oh man.
So that's what I'm saying. You never know the kind of impact that you have on people's lives if you do your best to try to empower people and give people what God has blessed you.
Wow. This is so much more than I anticipated. Hearing about your servant leadership and the impact. On another show that you did with us, you said, I don't chase the money, I chase the impact.
That's
Right?
right.
I look to be impactful. I've watched you on several different shows and podcasts, and that is
Mhm.
a running theme for you, and you've changed lives. And I know that I gotta like kind of pull it out of you, but you have opened the doors for a lot of people to know that, and have an example to follow, that they too can succeed no matter where they came from. So that's huge to see a little Tauheed running around, because of the impact that you had on his dad and his family. So top notch. Love it. Did your financial reward come with a big risk? Now, I heard you say the thing about, you know, the 6 months under contract, sink or swim. I gotta go hard for this house. I got these children. But are there other areas where with big risk came this big reward?
I don't know if I call it a risk. I don't know if I call it a risk. I
What do you
call
call
it
it?
I call it the journey required to win. I don't call it a risk. I don't see it. I never saw it as a risk. I never saw what I was doing and what I am doing as a risk. I just saw it as this is what God have planned for me. I I'm different. I never had a job. I never been on a job interview. I never I never owned a resume, right? Um, I'm different. And I know that. I know that God has a purpose and a bigger purpose, bigger vision. So if I look at it as taking a risk, that means that I'm not sure if it's gonna work. So I looked at it as a journey. This is part of the journey required to win. I remember one of my mentors said, Tauheed, if you want to win in business, you want to be successful, you have to be willing to give up everything you have. You have to be willing to give up everything you have, every material possession you have. He said, that don't mean you will give it up. You have to be willing. And I'm like, he don't know what he talking about. I ain't giving up nothing. I ain't. When I was faced with that challenge. I was willing, and I was willing to like, okay, I'm here now. He said I will be here. I'm here. I'm willing to give it up to keep moving. I didn't have to give it up, but I was willing to give it up. So because of that, I never looked at it as risk. It was part of the journey to be successful and be different and be impactful.
Deep. Extra, extra deep. It wasn't the risk, it was a part of the journey. The stumbles, the setbacks, all of that stuff was a part of the journey. And now I'm going to ask you to take us on a journey a little bit. What has been, or what are your top three places that you've been that you just absolutely love?
Wow. Wow. That's hard, man. That's hard. So I'm going to say number one is Italy. I love the culture of Italy. Love it.
Okay.
Number two, Hawaii. And no order, but Hawaii. And the third is Africa, but then it's different segments of Africa. You got Egypt, you got Morocco. So I'm saying the whole deal with Africa, and also the whole thing with Italy, Milan, Italy, Rome, Italy, Naples. And so the Italy, Africa, and I'm gonna do Hawaii.
Okay. I told you that's where I was like, this guy. All I saw was beautiful lights. I think you were in Nigeria, and you were doing some kind of broadcast, and I was like, this dude is international. He's inspiring people from where he is beautiful. It sells a dream that can certainly become a reality if you're willing to put the work in, right? And you're willing to build yourself up to having the things that you want to have. So I just wanted you to kind of sell the dream a little bit, because no matter what business you're in, you can't see it right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't see the that's the lifestyle that you could potentially have. So when you see people like yourself and some other people that we have come in contact with, it just really lets you know that no matter where you start, this is where you can be. So the inspiration is key. And I wasn't asking you for you to, to say, oh, I've been all these places, but it's really to let people know what's possible with hard work, effort, mindset, and your determination to get it
Mm-hmm.
done. So the last question that I'm gonna ask you, again, we had 30. We had to sift through the questions that we were gonna ask you. Are you content with where you are right now, or is the next goal to become a billionaire?
That's funny. Um, I'm not content, man. I'm not content. And it's not from a money standpoint. I'm just not content. I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to do more. I want to continue to inspire more. I believe that, my businesses that I have right now, I want them to continue to grow. And I want Succeed Anyway to be a household name internationally. Not because I want to make a lot of money off the brand. I just think that it means something. I think when you wear a shirt that says billionaire behavior or millionaire in the making or millionaire movement or billionaire in the making or succeed anyway, I think that when you look yourself in the mirror and you got adversity and you get hit with stuff and you see that flashing across your chest or flashing on your hand, then that's like, oh man, I can do this one more day. I can go after this one more day. So again, what can you do to empower and impact somebody's life? So that one shirt, right? That one shirt that, let's say, a child got to succeed anyway on his book bag, for example, and he take off his book bag every morning in school, and he's open his thing, and he got a logo say "Succeed Anyway." And he could have a bad day. He could he could have failed an exam, and he got succeed anyway on his book. So what does that mean? So it's not the money, it's the impact, right? It's the impact. So if I'm able to impact enough lives, then I will be a billionaire. If I'm
Yes,
not able to impact enough lives, then I won't, and I'll be okay with that.
I love it. That's huge, and you know, you probably weren't chasing the millionaire status either. You were just living the journey, and things happened along the way that
Now, I'm
propelled
gonna
you.
tell you now. I want to say this. I was chasing. I was locked in. I had that part. I was chasing that part, not chasing, but I was focused because I had to do that. I had to do that. That was a reason that I had to do that.
I love it. Okay,
Does that
so
make sense? That
it
part I
makes
had
perfect
to do.
sense.
That
I
was
love
something
it.
that was like, okay, you gotta do this. This you gotta do.
Understandable. One more question. I said that was the last question, but
right?
one more question, and this is a personal question. I asked everybody else's questions. What was that moment for you when you was like, I made it, I'm here, I did it? What's that moment?
There's no
There might
moment
be a
like that.
few.
There's no moment, man.
No?
I don't say I made it.
Oh boy, we're back to this again.
I don't say I made it, man. I don't know. I just, I don't know. I don't say I made it. I haven't made it yet.
Okay.
I think God had blessed me. I think I can impact people's lives, but to say I made it, I don't know.
Okay. What's one thing that you, because I'm going to phrase it differently because I understand the humility. I totally get it. What's one thing that you were able to do for your family that they found to be extremely impactful? I'm not trying to get too personal, but is there something that you were able to do that put a smile on your family's face?
Yeah, my sons. To look at my sons and see their success and what they've done, and for them to always have an example of somebody to look up to and say, you know, and my oldest son, I talked to him the other day. He said, you know what? I just tell him how proud I am of him and stuff like that because he got a big. He got a big position with his company. He's doing very, very well. All my sons are well, and I was telling him how proud I am. And he said, you know, Dad, I want to say something. It's you can't be your son and not win. That's what he told me.
Oh
So
man.
out of everything I've ever accomplished in my entire life is to have three sons that are successful, that deliver, that's impactful, and that have the mindset that they have. That right there shows everything about
The journey.
what the journey is about.
Wow. Okay. So that one, I'll let you get through with that one, because I know how you are. But that they're doing things that blaze a trail or have a blueprint for your children to follow. That is definitely impact. So we're gonna spend the last couple of minutes plugging all your stuff. So you talked a little bit about Succeed Anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
talk about how it came to be and what what all you're doing. There's so many different things that you're doing with it. Just tell us a few, and then part B,
You
talk
talking about
about
you talking about
uh,
succeed anyway, or
yeah, talk about Succeed Anyway
okay?
and how it came about, and what you already talked about what your vision is for it, but just talk about it. Talk about the book. Talk about the brand.
Mm. Well, it came about in 2019 when I was in San Diego. I was saying, you know, because every year I get away and I assess what I did the year, and then have goals of what I want to do for the next year. I do that every single year. And I was sitting, I said, there got to be something that I can do that's not about money. It's not about, you know, what you want to do with your construction company. What do you want to do with your financial service? It got to be something that's more impactful other than the business side, right? So I said, okay, well, why don't you just like write a book about your journey, like not your journey, but your business journey, like what it took for you to start, you know, the process, how and you can impact and empower kids' life. You can impact 15-year-old, 20 years old, 30 years old about what it takes to start a business from nothing. So I started, so I wrote down my chapters, right? So I said, how am I do this? I never wrote a book before. So I said, okay, what are your chapters going to be? Because I know when I do public speaking, I said, as long as I have my topics, I can go. I just need my topics because everything else is internal. So he said, okay, that's how you speak. Well, why can't you write a book that way? I said, well, get your topics. So I had like 10 chapters. And once I had the chapters, I started writing a book. And then once I wrote the book, I had it published, of course, and then a book started what came out, it just started exploding, and people like loved the book. They loved to read. They said, well, once I start, I don't want to stop. And then I said, well, okay, well, this book, Succeed Anyway, sounds like it's something to it. Why can't I get a T-shirt? Let me get a T-shirt with just Succeed Anyway on it. Just a T-shirt say Succeed Anyway, so they can have a book and a T-shirt. And then when people start buying a T-shirt, like, man, this T-shirt this means something to me. And then I just start expanding the brand. So you start with, again, you want to be an impact. Do something that's impactful. Once you do something that's impactful, then your vision starts expanding. It starts growing because you see the impact. If I didn't believe that it was impactful, right, I would not continue to expand it. And it's not expanding because I want to make more money. It's expanding because of the impact that it can have on people's lives.
Absolutely. Tell us how we can purchase. I have the book already, but tell us how we can purchase the book, purchase the merchandise. How can we find it?
Go to www.succeedanyway.net. www.succeedanyway.net. They have all the books there, the merchandise there. Anything you need is right there.
Perfect. There's a store, um, that I saw you debut as well, where you have enough merchandise. There's hats, there's bags, there's shirts, there's leggings, there's some of everything. There is a store, so the expansion is I don't even know what more is to come. I see the shirt. I love the shirt. I know it's in multiple colors. What's your shirt say?
Which one? This one?
Yes.
Well, this one says billionaire behavior. So we
Good.
started a new line with Succeed Anyway, which is one is millionaire movement, millionaire in the making, billionaire in the making, and billionaire behavior. So we're gonna come out with a couple of more, but all it is subliminal messages. You got some of my friends that's fighting to become a $1 million earner, some of my friends fighting to become a millionaire. So we want to make sure that they have this on their mind when they're going when they on their journey to making that become a reality. So anybody in the country, you have a kid that's 15 years old, he start wearing a millionaire in the making shirt. What do you think he's gonna think about? What do you think a 15-year-old kid that got a hoodie on that said millionaire in the making? What do you think how you think that's gonna ring with his friends, with the people that he's around? I mean, that's just whole change of mind, that whole shift of mindset is gonna be evolutionary. I don't know if this is the right word, throughout our communities.
As long as he's not wearing it in 90-degree weather, like a lot of our teens are doing.
I
Good
don't
for
care if
you.
you wear it in 90-degree weather, 120-degree weather, it's 5 below 0. If he wearing it and somebody see it, let's go.
I love it. Absolutely. Last thing I'm gonna have you talk about, because your philanthropy and your impact has really impacted where you're from. Talk about your Cherry Hill event coming up.
Well, this is outside of family, this is the biggest thing we've ever done right here, and that is creating a Hall of Fame for the community of Cherry Hill. Um, this has never been done in the history of America. On September the 16th, 2023, um, down at the Middle Branch Wellness and Fitness Center in Cherry Hill in Baltimore, Maryland, the city of Baltimore have allowed us to house the Hall of Fame in that 15,000 plus square foot facility. Well, it's probably like 20,000 square feet facility. They're going to let us put the plaques of all the legends. They're going to let us put the sculptures and the paintings of all the Hall of Famers. We're going to have a wall of fame, and we're going to have a Legends Lounge, and this is going to be unveiled this day. And then we have a new Hall of Fame members get indoctrinated on that day on September the 16th. There's going to be about 600 people there. A lot of dignitaries are going to be there to witness what's about to take place. And I mean, we started this in 2012. When we started it, we talked about that we're going to have a place that houses a Hall of Fame. And once this is done, Once this is done, it's going to be a monument for Baltimore City, and it's going to be a monument for America. And you're going to start having communities that teen leaders come together and start creating Hall of Fames. And what that does, it elevates everybody. You got kids running up saying, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to be a legend. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it already started in 2000. We had people from 2012 to now that didn't do anything. And now are Trailblazer Award winners, I mean, up and coming leaders. Some of them became trailblazers to legends now. Some of the legends became from legends to 2012 to Hall of Famers this year. So it is unbelievable the growth that's taken place in the mindset of our community as a result of a vision, a single vision, and getting the right people around you to buy into that vision to be able to empower and impact our community. We got a group of leaders that we collaborated together to make this happen, and we're excited about what's about to take place on September 16th.
Fantastic. A whole rose from concrete, right? Bringing notoriety to your hometown and showing that excellence comes from there. And I think that that's exactly what people need to see no matter where you live. It's a big city or whatever the case may be. Excellence comes from uh, troubled, a troubled start, you know, and it's a whole lot of excellence that's expected to be there that night, and just a testament of your impact. So I did want you to spend a couple of minutes with that, and I can't thank you enough for being a show contributor. It's one thing to be a guest, but
Right.
you are a show contributor. You interact on the Facebook group that we have. And I just want to thank you for believing in what it is that I'm trying to do to impact our community. It's a really, really big deal to have somebody that you look at as a coach and a mentor to come and share his gifts and his knowledge and his wisdom. But as everyone's probably heard, that's just who you are. So I'm thankful, grateful for what's to come. I'm grateful for all the people you're going to touch, all the people you're going to help, the people who are listening to the sound of your voice that may have been thinking of giving up or quitting, and I
Mhm.
now have a understanding or a blueprint to knowing that once you if you quit, the success was right there, and you could have missed it because you quit. So I thank you for encouraging the audience to succeed anyway. Get in that millionaire mindset and create some impact, and you will be blessed. So thank you for coming on, and I hope to. I want to make the Cherry Hill event. I'm going to fight real hard to make that, because I just think that's something that definitely needs to be celebrated. Any closing words?
Absolutely. Well, the only thing I can say is that no matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, if you have a vision, you have a goal, and you have a burning desire, and you have purpose and passion, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. You got to wake up every morning driven to go get what you want. And despite the hurdles, the roadblocks, and everything, and what everybody else say, you gotta put your blinders on and know that everybody that's doubting you have their own doubts. Everybody that's criticizing you criticize themselves. Everybody that say they don't believe you're going to do it lack belief in themselves.
Hmm.
So because all those people have all those things that they need to deal with themselves, they need to worry about themselves and let me deal with me, because I'm going to go get mine. That's what I need to leave everybody else. Have a good day, everybody.
That was a mic drop. And with that being said, this concludes your episode of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I thank you all for tuning in. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next